is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
And they'll test Grichuk. Throw to the plate. Oh, yeah, he got him. The 2-2. Got him on the outside corner. Long bouncer, right side, base hit. Cardinals go on top. 2-1 St. Louis. Piscotty drives it into left center field. Insurance for the Birds here in the 8th. Yachty delivers. Win number 75. The Cardinals win it in dramatic fashion. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And Cardinals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. 15 years ago today, 9/11, the Cardinals were in Milwaukee. And today we remember those that lost their lives. A beautiful day for baseball. It's the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Jim Hayes is here. That's Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us as we get you set for baseball. Exciting finish to game number 3 last night. We'll see if it carries over to today.
Really a terrific game yesterday. Plenty of good things to talk about, but the thing I liked best, Dan, was the energy that the Cardinals brought. I think it started with Carlos Martinez 2 games ago. It went to Wainwright, Wong, and many others here yesterday. The Cardinals are tired of losing at home.
Luke Weaver gets the start today for St. Louis. Cardinals trying to go to 10 games above the 500 mark. We remember on September 11th. Look at Kolten Wong making his presence felt not only at the plate but certainly defensively, turning double plays. Through the first 3 games, the Cardinals have turned an astonishing number of double plays. 9. That's tied for the most since 1988 by a Cardinals team in a 4-game series, and there's still 1 game to go. 1 more double play. First time since 1988 the Cardinals will have turned double digits in a 4-game series. There's a look at your Kia in the driver's seat. A lot of ground balls. That means ground balls turn into double plays for the St. Louis Cardinals defensively. Kolten Wong is in the lineup today. A special day around Major League Baseball as we remember on 9/11. Have you with us as the Cardinals try to make it 3 of 4 on September 11th against the Milwaukee Brewers. First ever Major League start for that young man. A live look at Carson Kelly. What an exciting moment this is for him here this afternoon. He'll be catching Luke Weaver. To think that these two, as you get a look at the numbers for Weaver, this time last season, their year was done. They were at high A ball.
So as exciting as the moment is, I think that that gives them a little bit of calm as they know each other. They're used to working with each other. They understand what makes Luke Weaver effective. So I think this is just going to be fun for them. Of course, they know this is an important game today. The Cardinals coming off a big win yesterday, an exciting win, Dan, and the Cardinals trusting Carson Kelly with a big important role here this afternoon.
Once again, an absolutely gorgeous afternoon here in the Gateway City. Temperatures are perfect. Not a cloud in the sky. Sun is shining brightly. We had great weather last night. Dramatic win for the Cardinals. We'll see, Rick, if that does carry over.
Well, you hope for that. The Cardinals trying to get to +10, as you mentioned earlier, and they have not been able to do that this season. Really delightful weather. 77 degrees. Not humid at all here, and September baseball is upon us, and going to be fun the last 21 games of the season.
Cardinals 9 games above 500, as Rick mentioned. So this will be the 8th attempt to get to 10. They have not been 10 above 500. You get to 9, 10, 11 above 500, finish the season that way. More times than not, that means you're in postseason play.
Time to push right now.
Jonathan VR leads it off, the switch hitter. Then Scooter Gennett and Ryan Braun. Chris Carter, 33 home runs. Kirk Neuenhuis, Keon Broxton, Orlando Arcia, Martin Maldonado, and the pitcher batting ninth, Zach Davies. So the Cardinals turn to Luke Weaver. He's made 5 starts, 1-2 his record. Last time he faced Milwaukee, he struck out 10 batters. And the first pitch is swung on and missed, and we're underway. Hyundai pitch arsenal, the fastball, change, curve, and cutter from Luke Weaver this year. Just his second start here at home. That's hit out of play, 0-2.
Weaver's a strike thrower, Dan. That's another thing we like about him. He does not walk very many batters. A walk in that game against Milwaukee really hurt him. He pitched well in that game, but walked Garza, the pitcher, then ended up giving up 3 runs in that inning. That was his only bad inning.
There's a home run by Kirk Neuenice, the difference in that game against Weaver. I spoke to Luke the other day and I said, what's it been like? What do you take away from your first 5 starts in the big leagues? He said, I need to trust my stuff. I need to understand that I belong here and that I'm good enough and that there's a reason I'm in this rotation for a potential playoff team.
Key thing for young players to learn, not just pitchers, but players, that they belong.
The 2-2 changeup struck him out. That's how we start the afternoon.
He has a plus changeup. He's going to use it for those strikeouts. He uses it extensively, shows good arm action. The breaking ball is good. The fastball has a little life to it. 93, 94 is plenty. When I first saw Weaver pitch, I'd heard, well, he doesn't have really the electric stuff, but I'm not so sure that's true.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah. What's wrong with 93, 94?
And as you mentioned, exceptional changeup. A strike to Scooter Gennett. Brewers second baseman, hitting .262. He's popped 11 home runs and driven in 45. 0-2.
By the way, Weaver is the massive guy among the 2 starters today because he weighs 170 pounds. Davies weighs 155 pounds, so 325 between them. I can think of a half dozen major league pitchers that weigh that much as the 2 of them combined.
Bartolo Colon.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Here's the 0-2. Tapped foul. The Brewers had been 53-5 when leading after 7 innings. And last night, they gave the Brewers their 6th such loss in that type of game. Cardinals their 11th win when trailing after 7, most in Major League Baseball. 0-2 pitch. Really a big win for Mike Matheny and his club. And Mike was talking before the game about the emotion of it, seeing the emotion of Adam Wainwright and how that carried over then to the bottom half of the inning.
Wong was part of the emotion of the game. So was Yadier Molina. Got a big hit, threw his bat down in celebration, and really fun to see.
The double by Steven Piscotty was big. And now 1-2. Just missed on the outside corner to even it up at 2-2. Two-two pitch. And a base hit into right center. That brings in Ryan Braun. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. Moss in left, Grichuk in center, Piscotty is in right. Carpenter, Jerko, Wong, and Adams on the infield. And Carson Kelly, first ever Major League start behind the plate.
The base hit may have been a situation of seeing multiple changeups in one at bat, and I think what Weaver can do, and he didn't do it there, but just take a little extra off on that changeup the second or third time you throw it. I think that's really the difference between Gennett swinging and missing at that pitch and hitting it off the end of the bat into center field.
Cardinals pitched around Braun, that key spot for Adam Wainwright last night. Then he picked up the strikeout Ryan Braun, 8th season of 25 or more home runs. And this year he has 26. His average 10th best in the National League at 308. Daniel Murphy of the Nationals at 345 to lead the senior circuit.
It was a tough choice for Mike Matheny, Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina. Do you pitch to the Brewers' best hitter, or do you pitch to their hottest hitter? And that's not always an easy thing to determine. Hernan Perez, who's not in the lineup today, was the man at the plate. He had 7 hits in this series and was hitting a lot of breaking balls too, which concerned me, but Wainwright came up big.
Mike was asked about that this morning, and his answer was the reason that he did it, and he agreed with your assessment. He said, I wanted to walk Braun, though, even though he was a 208 career hitter against Wainwright, which also plays into maybe what you're talking about.
Sure.
He said, but in his mind, he had seen all the tricks up Wainwright's sleeve, and Wainwright was teetering at that point, so he went with the lesser hitter. Here's a 1-1. Wainwright, by the way, made his major league debut this date in 2005, and Weaver was only 8 years old when 9/11 happened. Rick, we're getting old.
Speak for yourself, Danny.
Double plays have been a big story in this series. 9 turned by the Cardinals. Weaver would love number 10 right here. Lined into right center field. And Jeanette on his way to third base. Back-to-back singles for the Brewers here at the top of the first.
Brewers are a team that strikes out a lot, but I think they're showing that they're making an adjustment already to stay back a little bit more on Weaver, and Braun takes him the other way. Jeanette was able to keep his hands back on the changeup. They struck out, as you mentioned, 10 times in that game on the 31st of August. Cardinals have the same approach they're going to have to deal with Davies, who struck out 9 times, 9 Cardinals, both times he's faced them.
So 1 out, runners at the corners for Chris Carter. He's enjoyed his second 30 home run campaign. He has 33 this year. That's 3rd in the National League, behind Nolan Arenado and Chris Bryant. Both have 37. We'll see Bryant here tomorrow night. The Cubs in town, first of 3 against the Cardinals. Oh, 1 pitch. That really is the game within the game, as you're talking about. Luke Weaver, second time against the Brewers, and adjustments on both sides.
I would think both Davies and Weaver might have to make an adjustment to throw more fastballs in to counteract that approach I suspect both teams will have.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Catches the corner. Weaver's gotten his fair share of strikeouts. He's also given up his fair share of home runs, which concerns you in this at bat. A guy that has got tremendous home run power. Today, the final meeting between these two teams here in 2016. The Cardinals have won 13 of 18. And even with a loss, if that would happen today for St. Louis, Cardinals have won or tied 16 series in a row against Milwaukee.
Carter leads the National League in strikeouts, but he also is among the leaders in sacrifice flies. This is really a tailor-made situation for him. Craig Counsell has a guy that's a potent force in the middle of his lineup, but he knows the liability is the strikeout.
Sets up inside, the 1-2 in on his hands. It's another big crowd. We had a sellout last night, and with the weather just ideal, huge crowd here this afternoon.
I'd like to see him run that fastball down and in, little sinker here. I think he'd get him.
1-2 pitch. Hit out to left. It was the changeup. It's pulled and foul. It looks like early on Milwaukee has made that adjustment against the changeup. Two and two. Last two games, Cardinals have gotten very good starting pitching. Carlos Martinez, game 2, picked up win number 14. Last night, Wainwright picked up a victory, and now today it's Luke Weaver. Runner goes on the 2-2, and it's hit out of play. Braun, by the way, 14 stolen bases this season. So Martinez and Wainwright very good in back-to-back starts for the Cardinals.
15 innings between the two of them. I think the most important stat on there. Well, the earned runs, I think, maybe trump that, but getting deep into games, I think, has helped set up the Cardinals bullpen more effectively.
The 2-2.
It was interesting. Carson Kelly was using a fist for a fastball. I've not seen that. I thought maybe that was a pick off or pitch out, but he's been using the fist for a fastball.
Haven't seen that from him now, albeit 3 innings behind the plate. There it is again. Now he puts down the fingers. 3-2 pitch to Carter. Tapped foul. Luke was telling me the other day when he broke his non-throwing wrist, it was almost like a quarterback in the NFL. He was able to do 80-pitch bullpen sessions, and he had somebody that would basically just catch the ball back for him, and then he would have a glove that was very loose on his wrist but was able to stay in shape, and that's why he was able to really jumpstart his season, get right back in the rotation in the minor leagues. 3-2 pitch, and Carter hits it out to center. Grichuk makes the catch. Throw is cut off by Wong, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee. RBI number 80 this year for Chris Carter.
Brewers take the early lead, but let's take a look at our Toyota keys to the game. The Cardinals need to repeat the energy that they had here yesterday. One of the best games that they've had all season long, especially here at home. Outstanding to see what they were able to do and also control the running game. The Brewers 159 stolen bases. The rookie catcher Carson Kelly, the rookie pitcher Luke Weaver. They're going to have to do a good job of controlling the running game, and Ryan Braun's part of that. 14 stolen bases for him. But you really have to keep VR off the bases. That's the best way to control the running game. Don't give up any hits or walks.
So it's new and ice, one of his 13 home runs against Luke Weaver. 2 outs, runner at first. Governor Jay Nixon is in the booth with us, and a special day for the state of Missouri and Stan the Man.
They retired the license plate that Stan had for many years, and I thought that was a wonderful moment. The usual family was down on the field with Governor Nixon, and fans really enjoyed saluting the greatest Cardinal of them all. But that was a nice gesture.
So Rick, you will not be able to get your license plate at 3,000 next year. It's off limits. Can't do it.
Think of a different idea.
If not, the governor's coming for you. Governor Nixon just nodded in approval. Off the glove of Adams with time to Weaver. Nice play by Adams. The RBI by Carter. 1-0 after a half inning. strolls in. There's a look at a young man that really has pitched well for the Milwaukee Brewers, Zach Davies. However, the Brewers have lost 5 of his last 6 starts. Overall this season, he is 10-7 with an ERA just above 4.
Terrific changeup for Davies. We'll be interested to see the Cardinals lineup trying to maybe take him the other way. Brandon Moss had a lot of trouble with him. Said he may have the best changeup he's seen all season when the Cardinals faced him in Milwaukee.
Matt Carpenter 3 for 10 in the series. Walked twice last night. He's had 20 games with 2 or more walks. He's up to 72 this year. That's still in the top 10 after missing more than a month in the National League. 7th best. Paul Goldschmidt with 100 for Arizona. Pitch taken high. You do see a lot of rookies when they're in a rotation. Second half, they tail off, maybe not used to pitching deep into a season, certainly not in September when the minor league seasons are through. Davies, though, has been very good in the second half as that ball gets by the sliding Neuenhuis. And it's another double for Matt Carpenter.
Carpenter got a pitch he could handle. Down and in, drove it. Plenty of extra base hits for Carpenter. Molina, Piscotty, Carpenter. Ton of doubles between the 3 of them.
Luke Weaver, by the way, drafted out of Florida State. Zach Davies taken straight out of high school. 26th round in 2011 as Wong hits a high fly ball into right. Neuenhuis with the catch, and Carpenter stays put. Cardinals lineup here today: Carpenter, Wong, and Piscotty. Then Matt Adams, Randall Grichuk, Brandon Moss, Jed Jerko, Carson Kelly, and the pitcher Luke Weaver.
You talked about rookie pitchers in September. This series has been about rookie pitchers. The Cardinals with Sun-Hwan Oh in their bullpen. He picked up a save in this series. Luke Weaver starting this game, an important game. Cardinals have seen Junior Guerra, who's a rookie, and now Zach Davies.
Hyundai pitch arsenal for Davies, as you talked about, the changeup very good, about 20% of the time. Here's Piscotty, running a 7-game hitting streak coming into play today. Had the game-winning home run on Friday, a 2-run shot. Cardinals had 2 2-run homers in that game, and a big double, some insurance in the 8th last night to score 2. One ball, 1 strike, tying run at second base. 1-0 Milwaukee here early on.
So I mentioned the rookie pitchers. They're actually up among the league leaders too. Guerra has the 2nd lowest ERA of any rookie pitcher. We saw Junior Guerra in game 1. Davies has the 2nd most wins to Maeda with the Dodgers, and O has the most saves of any rookie in the National League.
Big gap in left center, and a 2-1 pitch to Piscotty. Tapped it foul. After today, 10 of the next 13 games for the Cardinals are against the Cubs or another wild card contender in the National League. Another reason why this game is so important. The 2-2. Mets are at the Braves today. Seth Lugo gets that start for New York. San Francisco against Arizona. The Giants have won 12 of 18 against the Diamondbacks this year. The Cardinals, if the playoffs started today, Get used to this. It will be back and forth. They'd be in. Mets would be out. Mets half game back of St. Louis. And the Cardinals a game back of San Francisco for the top spot.
Both Miami and Pittsburgh not making any ground. Starting to fade.
Running out of time. The 2-2. Got him to wave at it. Strikes out Piscotty. And it brings in Adams. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is presented by Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. By Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. First strikeout for Davies, and it brings in Adams. Matt was used as a pinch hitter late last night. And a soft ground ball to second. Tied the game up at 1. Picked up an RBI, his 49th. One ball, one strike. Here's a 1-1. Adams out in front, pops it up. Orlando Arcia on the outfield grass makes the catch. Leadoff double by Carpenter, left stranded at second. We played 1 inning, 1-0 Milwaukee. Run when the Cardinals score 6. Any size drink, just 50 cents the next day. Coffee fountain, frozen drinks. When they score, you pour. At your nearest On the Run, you earned it. Brewers with a 1-0 lead and an RBI by Carter is 80th of the year. And we move to the second. Keon Broxton, Orlando Arcia, and Martin Maldonado.
On Friday, the Cardinals and Carlos Martinez were trailing 3-0 early. Yesterday, they were trailing 1-0 early with Adam Wainwright on the mound. But both pitchers stayed in, pitched well, finished strong. That's Luke Weaver's job.
Had the privilege to MC the other day the grand ceremony for Cardinals Care, in which they distributed nearly $200,000 to so many youth groups that need help in our area. And we had Luke Weaver as the representative of the clubhouse coming and talking about his education, which he's a couple of classes away from finishing up his degree at Florida State. Such a well-spoken young man, And he said making his debut at Wrigley Field was great. It was exciting, but picking up that first win at home was even more special to him. Even though his parents were at Wrigley that afternoon, they are watching today. They never miss any of his starts. And mom and dad should be very proud. Good kid. Here's a 1-2. Little chopper to third, charging Carpenter, and he makes the play. With MLB.TV Premium, watch every out-of-market game live in high definition on more than 400 supported devices. Enjoy a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
I find that an interesting thought, what Luke Weaver said about the importance of playing and winning at home, when really, as of now, this isn't his home. This is his new home, and he hopes it's his future home, but already connected to what it means to be a Cardinal and understanding that you're going to have 40,000 people screaming for you and backing you. And I think the hope that this will be his home for years to come.
He said it's been incredible to sit next to Adam Wainwright on the off days in which he's not pitching and Wainwright's not pitching, to go through a game. Just to talk about how to approach hitters, situations, those types of things. As Arcia grounds out, 2 down. Waino got that from Chris Carpenter. Chris Carpenter got that from Roger Clemens and Woody Williams and David Wells. And he's passing it on to these young pitchers of the Cardinals.
A lot of important communication and teaching happens with the starting staff when you're sitting on the bench watching a ball game. You can learn a lot watching others go about it. Read today they were talking about the word outlast as a word that Chris Carpenter used to use, and Waino is using it with Luke Weaver. Stay in there longer than the other starter and you got a good chance. If you think about the low pitch count, a lot of strikes, you're out after 5, that's not good enough.
We've seen in this game too, put the ball in play, and in this series good things can happen with your defense. We haven't said that all that much about the 2016 Cardinals, but defensively Wong has made some great plays. Piscotty's playing the gap in right center the other night. 2-1 pitch. Maldonado is hitting .195, 7 home runs, and he's driven in 18. And he walks the 8th place hitter. First walk issued by Luke Weaver brings in Zach Davies. He's 4 for 48. That's an .083 average. 2 outs and a runner at first. Ball 1. There it is. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Weaver has used the phrase he's allergic to walks, and you look at his minor league numbers, very few walks, 15 and 9 in his 38 starts in the minor leagues with an ERA under 2. But at the big league level, the hitters are a little bit more patient, and they're not going to chase some of the breaking balls off the plate, the change-ups down in the zone, the fastballs riding high. So the walk total will probably be a little bit higher for Weaver at this level.
I've also heard the strike zone is smaller. Hitters understand the strike zone at this level. Umpires in the minor leagues a little bigger with their strike zone.
They're certainly more inconsistent, I'll say that.
And perhaps that's why they're in the minor leagues.
They're learning too.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch number 46 in this ball game for Luke Weaver. And he strikes out Zach Davies, his second strikeout of the afternoon. 1-0 midway through 2. Aledmys Diaz. More on that. Let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, he's back in St. Louis. Diaz took some BP in the indoor cage earlier today, then went outside and took some ground balls. Apparently, that was all the Cardinals needed to see as Aledmys was activated just before game time. Diaz had been on the DL since August 1st with the fractured right thumb. Dan, he told me he needs time to get the swing back in order, the timing on his swing. But as he told me, quote, right now I'm healthy. That's the most important thing. Dan, Diaz says the thumb feels great and he's had no issues gripping or throwing the ball. Just needs some more reps with that swing. But obviously the Cardinals are glad that Aledmys is back.
Any idea, Jim, when we might see him play?
You know, it's funny, Dan. Before he talked to Mike Matheny, before he was activated, he said, I'll be available to pinch hit today. Maybe I'll get in a game tomorrow. But Mike Matheny said they wanted to wait and make sure and have the medical staff check him out. So we'll have to wait and see.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. Here is Randall Grichuk. First pitch into right center. Broxton is back, leaps and caught it. Grichuk gave it a ride, trying to tie this game up.
Broxton outran the baseball. Very good speed. Probably had room to make one more step back in front of the wall, but pretty good athleticism. And there really wasn't much room between him and the wall, frankly, after seeing it on the replay. Terrific play by Broxton.
Brings in Brandon Moss, 1 for 11 in this series. He's struggling, no doubt, trying to bust out. Been sitting on 25 home runs. And Rick, you made the comment earlier that Moss said to you that Davies may have the best changeup he's seen. That might not be a good matchup for him.
Well, it may not be. That's what he's been having trouble with, is the changeup. He's been behind on the fastball and ahead of changeups, which is where hitters get when they're in between. But he told me that when we were in Milwaukee and he just struck out 3 times against him. He said, you know, everybody's raving about the Cubs starter Hendricks and his changeup, and he said Davies is better.
And there it was.
Case in point.
2 strikeouts for Davies.
Just pulls the string and you just can't stay back. I believe he sees it and he cannot make himself stay back just a half second longer. It's tough to do.
And with 2 outs, the hitter will be Jed Jerko. 19 home runs for Jerko since the All-Star break. Leads the club in homers with 26. Breaking ball and a good one for strike one. The Cubbies in town tomorrow night. All three games will be seen right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Speaking of Hendricks, he's 14-7, 2.07 ERA. He'll go tomorrow for the Cubs. Mike Leake for the Cardinals, 9-9. BJC Healthcare difference maker. Cardinals infielders most home runs first season with the team all time. Dick Allen with 34 back in 1970. High chopper towards third and foul.
Talked about Hendricks starting game one. There's not really a break when you go up against the Cubs rotation. They'll have Jason Hamels 14-8 game two. John Lester 16-4 will pitch the third game. So it's going to be a challenging series Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Very important games for the Cardinals. But first things first, handle the Brewers today.
You know, in that graphic it showed Mark McGwire had 20 plus. That was in about 2 months.
Right. That's almost not fair, is it?
First full season he had 70. Here's a 3-2. Inside. And a 2-out walk to Jerko. Carson Kelly made his major league debut on Monday at Pittsburgh. He doubled for his first ever major league hit, and he also caught 3 innings. So Yadier Molina the day off. That is rare these days. Rare all year. Two outs and a runner at first. Kelly, the 8th place hitter. Luke Weaver is on deck.
I think it says something. The Cardinals also have Brian Pena and Alberto Rosario, who's been with the team, but says something about their trust in the minor league Gold Glover Carson Kelly to handle the running game of the Brewers.
Great point. Here's a ground ball left side. VR makes the play. Cardinals strand a runner, and a special guest is coming up in the third. Incredible shot there. We have Rick Randall in the booth. He is a part of America's Heartland Remembers Flags of Valor project. It's taking place at Art Hill. And first and foremost, Rick, thanks for being with us. We certainly appreciate it.
Well, we sure appreciate being down here today. What a beautiful day.
For folks that don't know about this project, tell us about it.
Well, it was a project that came from the 10-year anniversary where we had 3,000 flags. We decided to honor the soldiers that have died since 9/11 in theater in Iraq and Afghanistan. So we have about 7,024 flags on the Hill for the last 5 days, and it's been very emotional, I will say that.
How did this come about?
Well, I just got a number of my closest friends together last fall, and I said, can we do it? And they said yes. So we formed 14 teams. Each team had responsibility of 500 flags.
Little ground ball, taps softly to the right side. Weaver at the bag and out. That's Biard. It brings in Jeanette.
And we've been working on it for about 8 months. It was a very emotional. Physically, it was a difficult project. But because we had so many committed people, we were able to do it. And anybody who's been out there saw we did it with a lot of precision. We didn't want to put these flags up any old way. We wanted to put them up perfectly, and I think we accomplished that.
Incredible look at what's happening at Art Hill. I'm assuming you get pretty emotional just seeing that.
I do. Each one is multiplied by 100. Family, friends, so many people affected by these wars and these sacrifices that are made on our behalf.
There's a ground ball off the bat of Jeanette. You came right from Art Hill to be a part of our telecast today, knowing that you had the opportunity to promote what's happening. So what is happening today, and then you're going right back to Art Hill?
I am. We are at about 3 o'clock. It was going to be at 2, but the walkers are taking a little longer this year. There's 300 walkers walking from Chesterfield. It's called March to the Arch. They're going to get a 9/11 flag that has all the victims' names. We've been flying all week, and they're going to carry it to the arch and plant it under the arch. So we have a little ceremony around that, honoring all those victims of 9/11 15 years ago.
And those flags will raise a lot of money, too.
They will. I'd love everybody to go to www.flagsofvalorusa.com and make a donation for a flag. We'd love them to try and find that family then, come pick it up, find the family, and provide the family of that fallen hero that flag.
Strikeout of Scooter Jeanette brings in Ryan Braun. I asked you before we came on the air, I said, do you have military service in your background? You said no, but you felt inspired to do something.
Yeah, I was just kind of cruising along before, like so many of us, before 9/11, and it kind of hit me over the head, you know, why doesn't that happen more often, and what's going on? And ever since then, I've become just very committed to the military, and particularly the sacrifices that are made on our behalf.
Here is Ryan Braun at the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. Again, the website, flagsofvalorusa.com. Flagsofvalorusa.com. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Ryan Braun. Can folks be a part of the ceremony tomorrow?
No, they will come down at 6:30 in the morning. We're going to say a few prayers and then just begin taking them down. Anybody who would like to come to the Hill at 6:30, they'd have to be there right at 6:30 when we give instructions to help us. We could use the help.
How many folks are involved with this, with your group?
Well, we have 14 team leaders, and we had about 500 committed, very committed volunteers. I'd start naming names, but it would take me too long. We'd be in the 9th inning.
Here's a 2-1 pitch, and Braun pulls it foul. How much money do you hope to raise and donate?
When it's all said and done, we have 4 great charities that 100% of these flag donations are going to, because we had 25 corporate sponsors that underwrote the cost of it. And we're hoping to get to 400,000 or so, where we'll be able to get 100,000 to each of these 4 charities.
And those are all based with military backgrounds?
They are all military charities. Semper Fi Fund, Missouri Military Memorial Foundation, Missouri Military Support Foundation, and a cause that I'm very committed to called Honor Flight, where we fly World War II vets to D.C.
I've seen that. That's an incredibly emotional experience. 3-2 the count here on Ryan Braun. And he hits it out of play. What time will things wrap up tonight?
Well, we're going to really take all the informational booze and everything down at 5 o'clock. and kind of clear the Statue Plaza up. But the flags will be up all night and lit all night, so I think the park's letting people in at any time. So they're beautifully lit at night. So if you haven't had a chance, come down tonight, even after dark, and take a look.
Great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You got
Appreciate
it. Rick Randall. Again, Flags of Valor, USA.com. On 9/11, we remember. Is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. By your local Volkswagen dealer. And by USAA Insurance, banking and investments tailored for the military community. America's Heartland Remembers, Flags of Valor Project. Great stuff with Rick Randall. A strike to Luke Weaver. 4 hits in his last 4 starts and hitting .444. Ground ball to VR. 1 away. So 7,000 3x5 foot American flags on a 10-foot pole installed and displayed over at Art Hill. If you'd like to donate, it's still open, as Rick mentioned, until tomorrow at 6:30 in the morning. You hear about that all the time. As Rick said, no military background, but felt inspired watching the events of 9/11 to get involved in some way. Craig Counsell played on the Arizona Diamondbacks team that won in 2001 in the World Series against the New York Yankees, and he was talking yesterday before the game about the emotional experience that was, staying in the hotel for the Fall Classic right in downtown in Manhattan, and just seeing what was happening with that city. And as he said, it almost wasn't meant to be. High fly ball, right center, Broxton with room. And they were all just dramatic games. Byung-Hyun Kim, the closer of the Arizona Diamondbacks, giving up late home runs to Derek Jeter, and Scott Brosius. The famous nickname Mr. November came about as we played a week later because of 9/11. So the series went into November. And Bob Brenly and the Arizona Diamondbacks would win it with a Luis Gonzalez walk-off win.
One of the oddities of the time, and we've talked about it, is almost the mixed feelings about playing and working through those feelings of understanding that, okay, baseball's not significant compared to what really matters in life, yet is it something that we need to normalize things? And I think that's kind of where everybody landed on it, but it was not a simple place to land because there's a lot of conflicting emotions.
Craig Counsell, part of 2 World Series that ended with walk-offs. Had that with the Florida Marlins, then Florida Marlins, and also with Arizona.
Professional football was going through the same problem of trying to figure out what they do with practice schedules, games, flights. What do we do?
Golf was here in St. Louis. The Pro Tour was here. Had to stop. Here's a 2-1 off the end of the bat and back to Davies. That changeup had him out in front, and the Cardinals go 1-2-3. We head to the 4th, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee. Kelly, first ever Major League start. More on that. Let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, he's obviously happy about getting that first Major League start. He told me catching Luke Weaver makes it even better. He caught Weaver a bunch in single A and double A, so he's familiar with Weaver's approach. Kelly told me Luke has a real good idea of how he wants to attack hitters. My job is to help him do it. Kelly told me his parents are in the stands today, and he was eager to get this thing going. And Dan, another great entry for Carson's notebook.
And for folks that don't know, he keeps a journal entry with every game that he participates in through the minor leagues and obviously here in the big leagues. That be matchups when he's at the plate or behind the plate.
Former Cardinal pitcher Bob Tewksbury was the first player that I saw do that as extensively as what we're talking about with Carson Kelly. He had detailed notes about each start and each hitter, and really a thinking man's pitcher, and had some really good years here in St. Louis.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Carter. Lined into center. Here comes Grichuk. Randall diving. Oh, what a catch! Randall Grichuk robbing Carter in center.
Well, I think Grichuk caught about half of the baseball, but that was enough. Bit of a snow cone on the dive. Where's the ball? Takes it right off the turf. And this may be a better look at catching half the baseball.
Half the battle is holding on when you hit the ground.
Exactly.
We have seen Grichuk a little tardy on balls coming in, but he got a very good jump on that ball. Now Kirk Nieuwenhuis.
Well, I think we have to remember that he's still learning center field. He's played a lot of right field in the minor leagues and really been all over the place. They thought of him as a plus defender, a Gold Glover in right field when he was with the Angels, and the idea was he was going to be the big armed right fielder, power hitting right fielder. And they thought, well, he could play center too. And this is out of necessity for the Cardinals with the injuries and Cardinals trading away John Jay. And many things have happened to kind of make center field his position, but I'm not sure it's his natural position.
Here's a 1-2. And a strikeout of Nieuwenhuis. So Weaver with 5 strikeouts, and he has struck out 3 of the last 4 he has seen. To me, the trade of Grichuk never made sense because you had Josh Hamilton with the Angels at that time that could not hit left-handed pitching. And here's a young center fielder. You've already seen Mike Trout come up. Now you've got another one. You could make those two the cornerstones of your outfield for years to come.
I think in a sense they gave up on Grichuk. I think they saw.
That's what he told me.
I think they saw some holes in his swing, some holes in his game, and thought, well, I'm not sure he's going to be able to make that adjustment. And yeah, he's talented, but I'm not sure we project him to be the guy we thought he might be. And that's not that he wasn't an attractive player, but they thought it might be better for them to get value for him.
He also had a number of odd injuries along the way. And according to Randall, when I talked to him about that, I said, why did they give up on you? Did you have a personality conflict with somebody in the front office? He said, no, not at all. Quite the contrary. Got along with a lot of people and thought I was well liked. He said, but I think they felt I was injury prone.
J.D. Drew comes to mind.
Sure. Popped up, right side. Adams. Great play, Randall Grichuk to rob Chris Carter. You do that, you get that kind of reaction. 1-0 Milwaukee. Gives you a behind-the-scenes view of the Cardinals with news, features, and more. This week, we'll feature the Cardinals Hall of Fame inductees. In-depth interview with Chris Carpenter, Cardinals Insider, brought to you by your Mid-America Chevy dealers after the game on Fox Sports Midwest. Looking forward to that. Piscotty, Adams, and Grichuk. One other thought about that World Series of 9/11. President Bush threw out a ceremonial first pitch, and he took it very serious. He said, here we are back, public forum, 50,000 plus at Old Yankee Stadium, America's pastime. We're going back to work with the World Series. And he went down to the batting cages inside the bowels of Yankee Stadium and was warming up and wanted to throw hard as he could as Piscotty picks up a base hit.
I heard that.
And he's wearing obviously a vest to protect himself, and many inside the government thought it was not a good idea. Don't go out there. People are going to know you're going to be there throwing out the first pitch. We need to have tons of security, clearly. And as he's throwing down in the cage, Derek Jeter walked down there and said, "You better throw a strike, because if you don't, you're going to get booed. This is New York, buddy."
Yeah. Well, I think I mean, there was all about a show of strength and power at that time, and resolve, and of course the Bush family very connected to the game of baseball long before that.
Ownership stake in the Texas Rangers, very close to the DeWitt family. Here is Matt Adams. Base hit by Piscotty to left. Adams popped out his first time up. Oh, 0-2 the count. A change up again. Very good with Davies.
Cardinals haven't figured him out yet. The start that he made on the 1st of June, 8 innings. The Cardinals did not have one runner reach second base in that game.
Here is the 0-2 pitch. Cardinals have had one man at the bag at second, and that was to start this game, a Carpenter double. And then after that, a fly out, strike out, pop out. Couldn't advance him, couldn't bring him home. Piscotty with 7 stolen bases this year as they throw over to check on him.
Jed Jerko had a home run against Davies in the second start that he made on the 29th of August. And that was a time where Jed Jerko was hitting a home run against everybody. Davies has allowed 18 home runs this year, so occasionally he'll hang that changeup.
Everyone in St. Louis remembers coming back home to Busch Stadium and the famous poem that was read by Jack Buck before the game. Should we be here? Yes. Third strikeout for Davies. Defensively, plays being made by the center fielders. That's Broxton robbing the Cardinals center fielder. And Grichuk returning the favor with Chris Carter at the plate. Grichuk riding a 9-game hitting streak. He's hit .353 during the 9 games with 3 homers and a double last night. Popped out. Flips his bat. Carter in fair territory, puts it away.
I think Grichuk believes he had a pitch to hit there, and it sat in the middle of the plate. Timing was pretty good. He just got underneath it a little bit. Right in the middle of the plate, about thigh high, just pulled off at a tad.
Brings in Brandon Moss. Struck out on a changeup back in the second inning. Cardinals have to win 9 of their final 11 here at home to ensure a winning record at Busch Stadium. The last postseason team with a losing home record have to go all the way back to the Braves of 2001. So it doesn't happen very often. A view from section 164. Moss out in front, and a high fly ball near the stands. Playable catch made by New and Ice. We played 4, 1-0 Milwaukee. Garcia, Maldonado, and Davies 7, 8, and 9 against Luke Weaver. Tacony Corporation having their company outing here today and enjoying Cardinals baseball. St. Louis-based group, and part of that group is Blake Cunningham, celebrating his 40th birthday today. Happy birthday to Blake Cunningham. Here's the 0-1. Fouled back. 0-2 on Arcia. Milwaukee's top prospect. He was ranked 8th overall in Major League Baseball.
Weaver has been sharp. He's thrown 70 pitches through 4, so you can envision him maybe getting through 6.
And to think that he started with around 50 pitches through 2.
Settled down from there. Has only had 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Been very solid. There's that 29 pitch first inning. Very solid in the 3rd and 4th.
Ooh, just missed.
He's due up 3rd in the 5th inning. The Cardinals, to see how this inning goes for Weaver, but if he has a nice 1-2-3, you'd expect him to hit no matter what happens. But they have Alex Reyes available for this game.
And a swing and a miss. Arcia, strikeout number 6. The bold and refreshing frozen strawberry lemonade is back, and it's only available at McDonald's. Also special happy birthday wishes to Tom Allgaier. Tom has helped us out a number of times with our speaker series and Ralston Purina. There's a strike to Martin Maldonado. He has struck out 4 of the last 6. Really see he's starting to hit his spots.
A lot of first pitch strikes the last few innings for Weaver. Moving it in and out. Kelly gives him the inside target. He hits it perfectly. 12 of 17 first pitch strikes overall for Weaver.
And the 1-2 in the dirt.
Maldonado's had a rough year offensively. The Cardinals have actually had a little trouble getting him out the last 2 series. He's only hitting 195, getting a lot more playing time with Lucroy being traded.
Line drive and a base hit over Wong. So he's on base for the second time. A walk and now a single. And it brings in Zach Davies, who has 6 sacrifices this year. Well, we talked about it the other night where a pitcher wants to bunt in this particular spot.
Well, it's the first baseline. Carpenter is breathing down his neck at third. You have to bunt to first. It's going to be successful. Perfectly executed by Davies. Well handled by Weaver. That's really the way you draw it up. If he bunts that to third, he's got no chance.
It's as far as we've seen Carpenter come down the line.
Any bunt to the third base side, you're going to get the lead out at second base and not accomplish what you want, maybe even a double play. So you're really trying to force the first baseman to field it.
Mizzou Athletic fans can stay tuned. In the bottom of 5, we'll visit with Jim Sturk, the new athletic director at Mizzou. Here's Jonathan VR. He is 0 for 2, struck out on a changeup and also grounded out. The big key is to keep him off base. 53 steals this year.
We talked about controlling the running game today for the Cardinals. VR, Neuenhuis, Broxton. 3 of the big threats are 0 for 6.
Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboards. Billy Hamilton 58, VR with 53. Marte also in the Central Division, and Hernan Perez of these Milwaukee Brewers. Gene Segura, a former Milwaukee Brewer, on that list with 30 for Arizona. 0-2 the count. Inside. You give Kelly a lot of credit, not only learning the position, but the way that he throws behind the plate. A converted third baseman. One of the toughest positions to learn. And he struck him out. 7 strikeouts for Luke Weaver, 2 in the inning. Milwaukee is stranded 3. It's 1-0. Athletics at the University of Missouri is Jim Sturk, and he's been kind enough to join us our telecast here today. And congratulations on the appointment.
Thank you so much, Dan.
I guess coming to visit with me makes it a little easier after a win last night.
Yeah, I was really happy to come after a great win like that. We scored a lot of points. Some people were saying it was the most they've seen in a long time, maybe combined 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us how things have gone so far for you.
It's been great. People have really welcomed me and really made me feel like this is this feels at home in a very short time, and I really, my wife and I grew up in the northern part of Washington, but both our parents, one grew up in Missouri, my dad grew up in South Dakota, so we have a little Midwest roots. So I feel very comfortable, and there's a lot of great things going on that we can help move forward and even have greater success. So I'm excited about that.
You had a gift this past week of $10 million to the football program, correct?
Yeah, it basically restarted a project that had been started under Gary Pinkel and Mike Alden, and really hadn't really been focused recently. They were trying to do some other things, and we really looked at it and really dialed down to what we needed to be done to really help football move forward. And the opportunity with Barry Odom and the support that he has, really want to give him the tools to be as successful as possible, and his possible is winning a national title. That's where he's going. So I've got to run to catch up with him.
And you believe that? I mean, that's the goal.
And we're playing in the combination of a great institution like Mizzou, AAU institution, flagship, and playing in the SEC. There's only 4 schools in the country that can really claim that, and so that's a great opportunity. And if you're competing in the SEC, you can win a national title.
SEC football, about as good as it gets.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. It's you got to be ready to strap it on, and I think our guys are really excited about this coming weekend with Georgia.
Barry Odom, your head football coach. Of course, you have Coach Anderson in basketball and so many of the other programs that we talk about. But your reputation has been one to build relationships with your coaches. Sometimes that can be adversarial when you talk about the AD and a coach, as we see the base hit here by Jerko. He's on his way to second base. Throw is not in time. A double for Jed Jerko. So the question would be, how do you build those relationships?
Well, I think the coaches have to feel that you're behind them and that you understand what their challenges are. And being a former player, I coached high school sports, and I understand it pretty well and been around it all my life. I think I understand the mentality. I understand they're laser focused on what their needs are, but I've got to keep the broader picture in mind as I'm working with them. But they have to feel like they are the most important person that I'm dealing with, and I try to do that and build good relationships with people.
Big part of your job, though, is fundraising and making sure the facilities stay state-of-the-art, best in the country, as well as you can do it. How do you do that with fundraising?
Well, I think it's again, communicating the message, making sure sometimes a picture says 1,000 words, where you can show a picture of a locker room or a stadium or whatever, and you show what your counterparts are putting up or have in their portfolio. And so I think that shows where we have to go. And I think as I came, I heard that from the commissioners, former commissioner and current commissioner Greg Sankey of the SEC, that Missouri was a little bit behind. And as I walked through with Coach Odom, that I could see that, and so it needs to be addressed immediately, and that's what we're going to do.
And then you look at the basketball program, your facility to me is second to none.
Yeah, it's a great facility. I haven't been in there for a live game, but it's you can see that's a great facility to play basketball in.
1 ball, 1 strike on the hitter Carson Kelly. Kelly hits it to short. Staying put, Jerko at the bag at second, and there's 1 away. Cardinals will stick with Luke Weaver here in the bottom of 5 and let him hit for himself. What are your impressions of just arriving on the scene in the area of Columbia, Missouri?
Well, Columbia, it's strategically located, I think, between Kansas City and St. Louis, and I've been here a couple times, and St. Louis has a great opportunity for us to with with the Rams leaving, and Marshall Falk texted me when I got the job. He said, I still know a bunch of alums there, Mizzou alums, and I'll help you wherever I can. But I know that gives us an opportunity for those people that are interested in football to support us on a more regular basis and give them a shot at supporting the flagship.
And for fans that don't know, you were at San Diego State. That's the connection with Marshall Falk.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry.
But just to make sure.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a pretty big name. You just name drop. You know.
And actually, last night the running back just eclipsed his record.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Donnell Pumphrey, and they beat Cal last night. So that was great to see him. And Marshall was great. They did a segment together, and it was a neat deal.
Have you seen an uptick in football sales because of the pro franchise leaving St. Louis?
Actually, in the premium seating areas, we're about 95 to 97% sold out of those, and so I think this week we'll probably see a pretty packed house. And but as far as ahead of time, those premium seatings that sold first, we saw an uptick in.
How about this weekend ticket sales in terms of the opponent and who you're bringing in?
Yeah, a nice Georgia opponent. That'll be a great one. First SEC game of the year for us, and so I'm very excited. I know Coach Odom will have our guys ready to play, and from what you could see last week, I think it'll be impactful, high speed, high octane offense, and then a great defense to go along with it. So a good combination.
Fourth strikeout for Davies, and now it's Carpenter. 2 hard hit balls. He doubled his first time up, hit one to the wall that was caught back in the third. SEC baseball, we're at a baseball game, but SEC baseball is about as good as it gets too.
Yeah, and with us, I think we're the most northern school in the SEC, and for us, I think in the near future, get an artificial surface. And people don't realize that college baseball starts in January and ends in May. If it was more the pro season, then I could see natural. But I think to help give our kids and our program the opportunity to compete at a high level, which is the ACC, we're going to need to put in an artificial surface, so that in a year or two we're going to get that done as well.
When you have a job like yours, do you have to be careful not to do too much too early?
Yeah, you can't. Well, I like to over deliver, so I'd rather not promise too much and then over deliver. So, but we've got a lot of things to do, and we have some urgency to do them as well.
Barry Odom, he's about as high energy a coach that you're going to find.
He is. He's got way too much energy. Well, I'm not too much, but I mean, I told him, are you going to dial it back a little bit as the games come? Because he is, he's going to the Truman's 30th birthday, and he's going and all over at night, and got his radio Tiger Talk, and he's coaching in the day, and actually after our game last week, after coming back from West Virginia,
flew to East St. Louis.
Yes, yeah, he left, and yeah. I was dead dog tired, ready to go to bed, and he took off and flew to St. Louis and watched a high school football game.
How about the kids in this area? Do you think you can tap in more to the kids in this area?
I think Barry's being strategic about it and talking to the people and the coaches and making sure those coaches know that they have a great option in the University of Missouri, and I think he's doing a great job with that and using his contacts and the people that he knows and meeting new people, and so I think that's really good.
Jim Sterk, the AD at Mizzou, is our guest. The 2-2 pitch. Carpenter strikes out. Jim, best of luck. Go get him this weekend.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Congratulations on the job.
Thank you.
Jim Sterk, the new AD at the University of Missouri. 1,000 fans will take home a bobblehead of the 06 World Series MVP David Eckstein, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Dearborns. Also start planning ahead with your 2017 Cardinals Magnet schedule, presented by Shelter Insurance. So don't miss the last weekend of the regular season. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Just had a visit with Mike Owens, formerly of Anheuser-Busch, now helping with the athletic department at the University of Missouri. Terrific guy. Well, the Cardinals in this game, Rick Horton, twice have had leadoff doubles and twice unable to advance that leadoff man to third base and bring him in.
All starts with the first job of moving him over. That didn't happen either time, and then the job gets a little easier for the next hitter. You don't have to get a base hit to drive him in, but unfortunately the Cardinals weren't able to do it either time. Colton Wong flew out trying to pull the ball, but got underneath it in the first inning, and then Kelly hit the ball pretty well, but to the left side, so just were not able to get that runner from second to third with one out, which you're going to score him there 50% of the time at least. So frustrating so far. The Cardinals have had a history this season of scoring seventh inning and beyond. I think it's okay to score in the middle innings. Let me just be on record as saying that. Go ahead and start early.
Why not? Scooter Gennett at the plate. We're in the sixth inning, 1-0 Milwaukee. You could have seen a scenario, and I understand either way that Mike Matheny would have gone, where even though the runner's still at second base, he went with Weaver. Now, if he gets to third, he probably pinch hit.
I think that's probably true. And that was really what we were setting up with the availability of Alex Reyes as a tempting choice to bring in as almost a piggyback starter. But you really want to see Luke Weaver get deeper into games, too. Pitch count has been lessening as the game's gone along. He's at 91 now, working in the sixth inning. You'd like to see him go 6.
Popped up. Carpenter giving chase and out of play. Matt was less than pleased with that called third strike.
Wasn't really happy with the check swing call either on strike 2.
Jonathan Broxton now up, and it looks like he'll start to throw in the Cardinals pen. 3-2 pitch. Gennett pulls it foul. May have chased a ball. There's a look at Broxton, the big man starting to throw. Spoil that pitch.
Gennett seems to be seeing the ball pretty well out of the hand of Weaver on the changeup. He had a hit on a changeup early on, and he's spoiling the changeup here in this at bat.
And a high fly ball lifted into right center. Grichuk again is there. Makes the catch on the run.
I thought maybe Grichuk lost that ball for a moment.
Agreed.
And then he found it, thankfully. Almost started to pull up, and then he kept going. Here he is looking up at the sun. I think he did. He's on the move, and right there, I'm not sure he saw that ball for a second, but made the play.
Maybe have gotten there a little quicker than he thought to. Either way, comes up with it. Another good jump off the bat. Here's Ryan Braun. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Wow is right. You're the analyst. I'll leave it to you to explain that one.
I thought wow was good enough. Do I need to expand?
No, I think that's enough. Here's Chris Carter. RBI back in the first. The only run in this game, his 80th driven in. And he was robbed by Grichuk in right center with a diving catch. 97 pitches for Weaver, so probably his final inning of work right here. And the 1-0.
When we get to September, I'm often thinking about the youth, the young players that are asserting themselves. Luke Weaver is one of them. Zach Davies, another. On Milwaukee's side, Arcia, the shortstop. Cardinals right fielder Piscotty, Grichuk, all 25 and under. Colton Wong, 25. These are guys that may play against each other for 10 years down the road.
The 2-1. Check swing, and he did go. 2-2. This is the next wave of that talent that you talk about in Major League Baseball.
Maybe saying 10 years from now, I remember watching Arcia play when he was a young shortstop for the Brewers in 2016.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. That's 8 for Luke Weaver here today. Better Together Pet Adoption Day at the ballpark. That'll be Tuesday, September 13th. Head to Ford Plaza prior to the game to meet adoptable furry friends from Gateway Pet Guardians and Helping Strays. Tickets available at Cardinals.com. Just met a gentleman in the booth that is headed for his 6th deployment. Leaving on September the 25th. And he's headed to Iraq.
Very nice family.
So Luke Weaver, 8 strikeouts. We are in the bottom of the 6th. It's Wong, Piscotty, and Adams. Colton pops it up on the infield, backing up. Third baseman VR. It'll be the shortstop that takes it, Arcia. And Colton is over 3, and it brings in Piscotty. Piscotty is struck out and also singled to left.
Davies does a terrific job of staying out of the middle of the plate. He is getting outs up, out, in, down, but everything's moving just a little bit off the plate. Changes speeds well. And only 66 pitches with 1 out in the 6th.
I thought once Weaver settled in, you could have used that same description.
Agreed.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. You know, it's not overpowering, but yet you see late swings against Davies too.
And even saying that Weaver settled in, he gave up the scratch run in the first inning, but it was a bloop hit the center off the end of the bat by Scooter Gennett on a pitch that was not a bad pitch. Braun just took him the other way on the next pitch. Watch out.
Oh, off of Davies, steps and throws. Thank goodness he's smiling.
Yeah, he's smiling about it. It's just reaction. It's like he got the glove up just in time. He's finishing his pitch still, and then it's glove, chest. What else it hit off of, but thumbs up. Had it all the way.
Here's Adams. Is it crazy to think or say that for the Cardinals in this game, it's not a matter of if, but when?
Yeah. No, I don't think it's crazy. I think it's what we expect to happen. Still have to do it.
2-0. Cardinals with 72 home runs, 7th inning or later. The 2-0.
I think the late inning production has a lot to do with the fact that the Cardinals have production capability from top to bottom in their lineup. So when you get to this 8th inning and say you're at the bottom of the lineup, that doesn't mean you don't have some firepower there. Cardinals have Jerko, who's leading the team in home runs in the 7th spot in this lineup. Could be him.
3-1 pitch. Adams hits it the other way, slicing down into the corner, taken there by Braun, and he'll hold Adams to a base hit, a single. So Adams 1 for 3, and it brings in Grichuk.
Pretty good pitch down and away, and that's where Adams takes it away.
There's two guys that have, I think, had good at bats against Davies today, and this is one of them. The other being Carpenter. You talked about it previous at bat. Grichuk got a pitch and he just missed it. He's also hit one up against the wall that was caught. Breaking ball and a strike. Grichuk hits it sharply to third, off BR, and safe at second base to extend the inning. Hard hit if it's an error, and it is. It's number 28 on Jonathan BR.
And he's had 11 of them now as a third baseman after moving from short, and I wonder if there's some thought here about maybe pinch running for Matt Adams. It's early in this game, but the Cardinals haven't had a lot of chances. Matt does a good job of getting down and beating that throw.
Cardinals have not had a man reach third base today. Here's Moss. He is struck out, flied out. This big crowd is ready to erupt here at Busch Stadium. 2 outs and 2 on. Changeup.
Frustration's building for Brandon Moss. He can change that feeling pretty quickly with one hanging changeup. Keep those hands back.
0-2. Runners at first and second. Moss in the hole, 0-2. The next pitch struck him out. 6 strikeouts for Davies on this Patriot Day. USAA honors those who have served and all of our service members at home and abroad. (9/11), and we remember throughout Major League Baseball, you see the logos being worn on the uniforms. That logo right there and the caps, those will be auctioned off for charity to help the families of first responders in our military throughout our country. It's our Chevy call to the pen. Jonathan Broxton after 6 strong innings from Luke Weaver. Here's Kirk Neuenhuis. Rick is still emotional after watching the Kiss Cam. Incredible how emotional you get. We need tissues. You're still shaking your head at me.
Yeah, for the 100th time this year. I am impressed, Dan, with what Luke Weaver did today, and I think he's starting to make a statement that he is the Cardinals at this point #2 or #3 starter. I don't know that you really have to worry about naming that or saying that at this moment, but Cardinals are, as of today, the second wild card. As of today, with 3 weeks left. If it was the end of the season, I'd have to say he's one of your top 3 guys. If you've got to play a 3-game series somewhere.
The other part about that too, Rick, is he's come up to the big leagues and he hasn't been scared with the situation at all.
He's not scared. He's fresh. He's not much of a known commodity by some of the teams in the league that he might be facing that don't quite know how to attack him yet. I think he's a weapon. So is Alex Reyes.
I don't know if you feel the same way, but when you watch Major League Baseball now, and I'd say the last 5 years, the importance of young guys at the end of a season, you know, because they are young, you know, 22, 23, 24-year-olds making a difference, an impactful difference with teams that go to the playoffs, and you have to have that down the stretch.
So they have to expect that that's going to be a possibility when they're in the minor leagues and they're being developed. Good pitch by Broxton. Finish off Neuenhuis. Good start for him. But part of the development, if you're minor league staff, is letting guys know, look, when you get there, you're going to matter. This is not just a promotion, and you know that's not the end of the road. It's the beginning of something bigger.
There's Keon Broxton. He's 0 for 2. Grounded out, popped out. First pitch to him. Fastball taken a little bit low. Jonathan throwing hard today. That pitch at 97.
Broxton, the hitter, not the pitcher, has been impressive in this series too. Notice where his hands are, very low. He started doing that after being sent back to AAA. And the reason he started doing that is he was having trouble understanding the top of the strike zone. And he just decided one day in batting practice, and the coaches were helping with it, I'm going to put my hands at the top of the strike zone. So I'm going to understand that anything that's above that, I'm not swinging at. And since then, he's been on a tear. Over 300 since his recall. We've seen Peralta on Peralta battles. Now we have a Broxton on Broxton.
Last night it was Torres on the mound with Torres the home plate umpire.
That's right.
2-2 the count.
Had 2 Chris Conroys many times. Cardinal trainer and umpire. But there's only one Dan McLaughlin.
Oh. Thank goodness for that.
Actually, there's not. I know another one.
Poor fella.
He's normal.
Just waiting for you to start coming at me. Only took to the 7th. Check swing and a strikeout. Plaza Tire Service replay and a strikeout. And the Hyundai pitch arsenal. Did you really just get up out of your chair and throw a grenade?
I did. Well, the players are doing it. I got you, and I figured I'd celebrate.
What's the matter with you?
Oh, boy.
Here's a ball to Arcia. I had my head turned away, and I look over.
I did the chainsaw thing first, and you missed that.
So you combine the Brewers and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
For those that haven't seen it, after a base hit, it's a looks like they're starting up a chainsaw, and then a headbutt with the first base coach.
It's their thing.
You know my idea. Every strikeout, just a swift punch right to your face.
Better bring some help.
Time to stretch. 1-0 Milwaukee. And don't miss Grateful Dead Night at Busch Stadium. That's Monday, September 26th. It's a theme ticket. You'll receive an exclusive Grateful Dead inspired Cardinals t-shirt. And get your Grateful Dead Night tickets now at cardinals.com/theme. Jed Jerko leads it off. Cardinals trail by a run. Davies pitching into the 7th, the starter for Milwaukee. Jerko, then Carson Kelly, and a pinch hitter. That'll be Jonathan Broxton's spot. This is our Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. $1,000 donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Jed has walked and he is doubled down the right field line. Check swing, ground ball, slowly hit to short. Arcia. What's on Tap is presented by Budweiser. Kyle Hendricks and Mike Leake tomorrow. Our coverage begins at 6:30 with the Chicago Cubs in St. Louis.
Hendricks may be the Cy Young Award winner.
He might. He's definitely in the conversation. Cardinals face Hendricks, Hamill, and Lester. Cardinals counter with Leake, Garcia, Martinez. 1 ball and 1 strike. Crowd of 44,703 today. 44703. Cardinals go over 3 million in attendance for the 13th consecutive year. Fly ball into left. 2 down. So 13 consecutive years over 3 million in attendance.
Good time for us to remind everybody of the pinch hit statistics, Dan, for the Cardinals. Hazelbaker's been a big part of that. With 4 pinch hit home runs of his own, the Cardinals have had 15. They've hit .333 collectively. Been a big part of their offense.
First pitch, a strike.
Davies doing such a good job of adding and subtracting. Pitching coaches will talk about that. Take a little off, add a little.
Oh, 2 pitch. Changeup, strikes out. Hazelbaker, his 7th of the afternoon. Thank you, Scotty. Takes us to Zach Duke. It's not only the great race that we have currently, that final wild card spots, but also what's happening with Boston and the American League East. Boston just a game in front of Toronto, 2 in front of Baltimore, and the Yankees have now gone to 11 games above 500. They are only 3 out. They're 8-2 in their last 10.
7-team wild card race in the American League with 3 weeks to go.
So here is Zach Duke against Martin Maldonado. Davies is at the on-deck circle. Rick mentioned the low pitch count. Then we'll see Jonathan VR. One ball and 1 strike on Martin Maldonado. Maldonado has walked and singled to right. Difference in this game, and sac fly RBI off the bat of Carter back in the first inning, his 80th RBI, and that's it.
Duke's been effective as a Cardinal. Game number 71 on the season. He's also been durable. I've been impressed with how he attacks right-handed hitters, especially. You'd think with the drop down motion from the left side that he'd be more of a lefty specialist only, but he knows what he's doing against right-handers.
Just missed.
He's found pretty good velocity from this angle. He goes up, then he goes down.
Mets with a 10-2 lead over the Atlanta Braves.
Let's go Zach Greinke. Starting against San Francisco.
Duke makes the play, steps and throws for the out. Raider coverage of Major League Baseball is presented by T-Mobile. Seth Lugo, 7 innings for the Mets today. Zach Greinke, they're just underway with the Giants. Greinke 12-5, but the ERA about 4.5.
I'm surprised he's 12-5. He had such a bad start, and you heard about a lot of bad losses he's had, yet still 12-5 with a team that hasn't won a lot. So I'm not saying it's been all smooth sailing for him, but certainly he's got a chance of having a important game against San Francisco.
Diving stop by Carpenter. Gets Davies by a step.
Carpenter's been playing a lot of first base, but shows very good form there at third. Well, maybe the Cardinals tired out Davies, making him run there. He's having some game, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Cardinals will have to try to find a way to get to him in the 8th. Top of the lineup coming up for St. Louis, bottom half of the 8th inning. And a strike to Jonathan VR. Switch hitter. 0 for 3. Two-one pitch.
I always find it interesting that switch hitters often have a different stance, whether they're batting left-handed or right-handed. You know, you'd think, well, maybe they would mirror what they do. Very few of them do. VR has a different stance at the plate, but he has production from both sides. Equal amount of, say, power numbers from each side.
Took some off it on the 1-2, and he strikes out VR. Top of the lineup coming up for St. Louis in the bottom of the 8th. Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. By Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. And taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. One to nothing. The Brewers have the lead here in the bottom of the 8th. Here is Carpenter. And Carpenter hits it a ton. Out to deep right. It is off the base of the wall. Carpenter on his way to second. Hustling in. Sliding in. Save!
Second double of the afternoon for Carpenter, and it comes at a great time. Here in the 8th inning, he got a pitch up in the zone and made a perfect slide to the infield side of the bag and hung on.
Worry about that oblique when you see that. So leadoff double, and now Kolten Wong. 0 for 3 today. Wong bunts it foul.
The third chance the Cardinals have had with a leadoff double in this game. You mentioned it earlier, Dan. Kolten wasn't able to advance Carpenter in the first. Carson Kelly not able to advance Jerko in the 5th. It is imperative that Wong somehow gets Carpenter to third.
Third baseman in, Carter in at first. Now time is called. Carlos Torres, right-hander, saw him last night, starts to throw in the pen for Milwaukee. 7th inning later, there are the numbers for St. Louis.
And Milwaukee was not expecting the bunt on the first pitch, but they are now.
Wong squares. The Cardinals have not had a runner get to third base today. It was the 8th inning magic last night, and they do it again. The 1-1 pitch to Kolten Wong. Instead, a check on Carpenter.
So if Wong's able to bunt the ball and make VR field it at third, all Carpenter has to do is beat VR to third base, and I don't think VR would maybe even attempt to cover there. He wouldn't put the wheel play on, I wouldn't think.
Here's a 1-1. Taken high. And for those that don't know, explain the wheel play.
The wheel play is with the shortstop is he's going to come in behind and keep the runner close at second, and he's going to vacate the shortstop position and cover third base, and he's going to be moving with the pitch, but that opens up the middle infielder, and that's a risky thing to do when you're not 100% sure they're bunting, and it's a risky thing to do with a guy that can swing the bat at the plate. But bunt it to third, make VR field it. He's had 28 errors this year.
2-1. 3-1. Piscotty on deck. This big crowd of 44,703 on the edge of their seats, ready to erupt here at Busch.
Well, you're committed to the bunt. I say you still do it. Even 3-1, get the runner to the third. You'll probably get a strike to bunt here.
3-1 pitch. 3-2.
I wouldn't bunt here. I'd let him swing away and try to pull the ball, especially Carter's still expecting the bunt. He's in too close, if you ask me. He has taken away some range potential. Have Kolten try to pull the ball right past him at first.
3-2. That's what he's trying to do. You know, the other interesting thing about this too, Wong, not always, but generally speaking, pulls the baseball.
Interesting, Carter, as that pitch came in, took 2 hurried steps backwards. And now he's behind the first base bag. So ground ball to the right side, Carpenter gets to third. That's all you need.
3-2 pitch. Ground ball that rolls foul.
He's got the right idea. Hit the ball on the ground. It'll be as good as a bunt.
Three balls and 2 strikes on Wong. Pitch count at 97 for Davies. We saw Torres last night come in to face Stephen Piscotty. Here it is again, the 3-2 pitch.
This is a good battle here, and this is the most pressure that Davies has been under all afternoon. It's been a cakewalk for him so far. He has dominated the Cardinals.
In a 9-pitch 7th inning, total 9 already here in the 8th. 3-2. Wong pulls it to the right side. Jeanette makes the play. One way or another, he got him over to third base. That's Carpenter representing the tying run, and it brings in Piscotty.
Cardinals bench is just mobbing Colton Wong right now. You think they don't care and they don't understand how important that ground ball was? Colton getting all kinds of attention, as he should be. That's a quality at bat despite it being a 4-3.
Next time you want to grab seats, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck. So get the StubHub app today. Tyler Thornburg had also been throwing in the pen. And there he is, number 37 of the Milwaukee Brewers. So that'll be it for Davies. Terrific outing for the Milwaukee starter pitching into the 8th. Records an out. Runner at third. Piscotty coming up with just 1 out. The game on the line when we come back. Bottom of the 8th, 1 out, runner at third. Stephen Piscotty. Our Kubota Power Stats taking a look at the RBI leaders of the Cardinals. He has been their best with 80 this year. He extended his hit streak to 8 games with a base hit back in the 4th. This inning started with a double by Carpenter, ground out by Wong to the right side. And Milwaukee playing the infield in.
A bad number for you and a good number for you. Opponents hitting just 148 against Thornburg this year. The good number, Piscotty still leading the league in runners in scoring position.
High fly ball out to center. Carpenter will tag up. Piscotty, RBI number 81. This game is tied 1-1.
Carpenter started it, Wong helped it, and Piscotty finished it. That's how you manufacture a run.
Here is Adams with 2 outs. Well, Davies did just about everything he could in this game and leaves, and now it's 1-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Adams with a fly ball into center. And Broxton under it. Makes the catch. The Cardinals tie it up. Piscotty, RBI number 81. And it's a brand new game. To the pen. Kevin Segrist is into the ball game. Weaver 6 innings. Broxton scoreless 7th. Duke the scoreless 8th, and now Kevin Segrist his 60th appearance.
Last couple of times we've seen Segrist, I think he's gotten over a little bit of a hump as far as his fastball is concerned, having a little more life to it. He went through the early season sickness that he had. A bunch of players had it over a week, and that kind of drained him a bit. Took him a while to come back from that. Then he had the mononucleosis, which also drained him, and just didn't quite feel like he had the full power behind his fastball. He wasn't really getting behind it, but the last couple of times out, I think he's been sharp. Cardinals need him to be sharp down the stretch. He's an important weapon late in games, and can't be any more important than pitching the 9th inning in a 1-1 game.
Hernan Perez leads it off. It'll be Perez, Braun, and Carter. He's 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts against Kevin Segrist. Pinch hitting for Scooter Gennett. Second pitch of the inning. Out to shallow center. There's Randall Grichuk for the out. you see the irony in this great sports town in which the Cardinals announce they go over 13 consecutive years, over 3 million in attendance, the day that the NFL kicks off. This is a terrific sports town.
No question about it.
One out and nobody on, and here is Ryan Braun. Big gap in left center. A swing and a miss by Braun. Braun today is singled to right. He is struck out and grounded back to the pitcher. Always a threat at the plate. 26 home runs. 0-1. Now 0-2.
About the job Carson Kelly has done behind the plate today.
Just thinking that.
Haven't really missed a beat. Of course, he's not Yadier Molina. I'm not saying that, but good starting pitching from Weaver, but he's also handled Broxton and Duke well. They both had good innings. Now Seager's off to a good start. Setting up inside again. Get it in there.
One and two the count. In the bottom of the ninth, the Cardinals will have Grichuk, Moss, and Jerko. No doubles defense in the outfield. And the 1-2 pitch to Braun. In the dirt, 2-2.
Think about the pitch calling of Kelly, who hasn't caught the relievers a lot. It's a lot of studying quickly to say, okay, how do you want to attack a hitter, right-hander, left-hander? That's a lot of history to catch up on. That history that if you're playing it, you just remember it naturally. You don't really need to write it down. But he's been writing a lot of things down of late, to be sure.
The 2-2. Have to think too, Rick. A lot of conversations between innings with Yachty and Derek Lilliquist, maybe some of the other pitchers as well.
I think Blaze Ilsley too, out of the bullpen, to understand what the relievers are doing. If you find yourself in late in the game with Seager's games on the line, you better be in sync with it.
3-2 pitch to Braun. In the air, left center, and it is gone. Ryan Braun solo home run on a 3-2 pitch here in the top of the ninth.
We haven't seen a Ryan Braun home run in quite a long time, and this was a bad time for one. The fastball didn't quite get in. Talked about owning that inside corner. Braun was looking for it, and from 0-2 to 3-2, then the fastball, he was looking for it. Middle in.
Now Carter. I believe that is Braun's first home run against the Cardinals after his suspension.
I believe that's true.
Carter with an RBI back in the first. 1 ball and 1 strike. Miguel Sokolovich is warming up in the Cardinals pen. Here's a 1-1 pitch.
Cardinals will have Grichuk, Moss, Jerko. Then Carson Kelly, but also would expect to see Yadier Molina perhaps if it got to that situation.
Braun's first home run against the Cardinals since 2013, and it comes at an awful time The top of the ninth of a 1-1 game in September. 3-2 pitch, and he struck him out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the account and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. So 2-1 our score here in the top of the ninth. Kirk Nieuwenhuis, the hitter. Here's a 1-1 pitch. 1-2. Nieuwenhuis hasn't liked either strike call. Fox Tracks had those both at balls as well. One-two pitch by Kevin Segrist. Breaking ball, and he strikes out. Kelly finds the baseball and throws a strike to first. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Solo home run by Braun. Grichuk, Moss, Jerko coming up. For the Cardinals, 4 for Milwaukee, but they have a 2-1 lead. Randall Grichuk will lead it off. Tyler Thornburg stays in the game. Thornburg faced Piscotty. First pitch to Steven was a fly ball to center that would score Matt Carpenter, and a sac fly to tie it up. Then Adams fly to center. And now he'll have Grichuk, Moss, and Jerko coming up. So some big power threats here for the Cardinals.
Thornburg's tough. He's got the good fastball and a good hook to go along with it. Such a good at-bat by Piscotty in the 8th inning. The Cardinals need some more good at-bats now in the 9th.
Check swing did not go. Grichuk sent one up against the wall. It was caught by Broxton in center. He's popped out, reached on an air. Here's a 1-0 pitch. We get into extra innings. Shadows could become a factor. They're moving towards the home plate area. They've been a high strike. 1-2. They're the Shadows right behind home plate.
And that would be a great problem for us to deal with.
You got it.
Or the Cardinals could end it.
Here's a 1-2. And he struck him out. That's how we start the bottom of the ninth.
Mentioned he has an extremely sharp overhand curveball, and there it is. He throws it hard, too. It's a hard curveball at 80.
Moss 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts. First pitch to him. Here's the 0-1. Now 0-2. And a strikeout of Moss. So the Cardinals are down to their final out, and the final hope is Jed Jerko. Zach Davies is our Budweiser player of the game, the starter for the Brewers. 7 1/3, 5 hits, allowed just 1 run, 1 walk, struck out 7.
Luke Weaver was pretty good on the Cardinals side, too. Well, Jed Jerko's done this before.
So many of those home runs have either tied a game or put the Cardinals on top. Way out in front, looking for something different. Strike 1. Thornburg looks awfully sharp. Molina, if we get there, is at the on-deck circle, and he would pinch hit for Carson Kelly.
That curveball is the reason why opponents are hitting just 148 against Thornburg.
Jerko is walked, he is doubled and grounded out. Here's a 1-1. It's an out of play. Cardinals down to their final strike. The 1-2. The 2-2. And he struck him out. Thornburg impressive here in the ninth. And the Brewers earn a split here in St. Louis. Tough way to lose this ball game. The Braun home run late, and the Brewers win it 2-1.
Another crisp, well played game, well pitched game. Both the starters were terrific. Zach Davies, Luke Weaver. A lot of strikeouts in the game. The Cardinals lose a game where they only give up 4 hits, but the Brewers made them count. The home run by Braun, the big blow.
On to the post-game show. Reminder, we're on the air tomorrow at 6:30. The Cardinals and the Cubs, the first of 3. 2-1 the final this afternoon.